Now on CoastTV News.
Beachgoers beware. Jellyfish are swarming Sussex County shores and hundreds of people are getting stung. What lifeguards want you to know. A jam-packed weekend, NASCAR and the Delaware State Fair are racing into Kent County at the same time. How it's shaping up locals and visitors. And a presidential health update. The White House reveals a new diagnosis and details on the president's condition.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
Good Friday evening. I'm Christina DeRobertis. Thanks so much for joining us here for CoastTV News at 11. This week, the White House providing a surprising health update for President Trump, revealing the 79-year-old has been diagnosed with chronic venous insufficiency. Senior White House correspondent Gabe Gutierrez has more on what that is.
After these images of President Trump started to draw attention, apparent swelling in his ankles and bruises on his hands covered with makeup, the White House delivering a health update Thursday, revealing he's been diagnosed with chronic venous insufficiency, a swelling of the legs caused by blood pooling in the veins.
Benign and common condition, particularly in individuals over the age of 70. Importantly, there was no evidence of deep vein thrombosis or arterial disease.
The administration releasing this physician's letter that notes an echocardiogram was also performed and confirmed normal cardiac structure and function. No signs of heart failure, renal impairment, or systemic illness were identified, adding the president remains in excellent health. Symptoms of chronic venous insufficiency can include pins and needles in the legs, discolored skin, or in rare cases, ulcers near the ankles. The president is 79 and is known for staying on his feet.
No discomfort from the president at all, and you probably all see that on a day-to-day basis. He's working around the clock.
The White House also providing an update after photos of bruising on the president's hands emerged, seen in February during a meeting with the French president, and this week a camera captured it as he was speaking to reporters. The White House physician says it's consistent with minor soft tissue irritation from frequent handshaking and the use of aspirin taken as a standard cardiovascular prevention regimen. The White House pointing to his lengthy receiving lines, including on this recent trip to the Middle East.
I shook more hands than any human being is capable of doing. That was a long deal, and they were big people.
Now to Rehoboth Beach, where today commissioners passed a new civility rule. As Coast TV's Brandon Ferguson reports, that covers things like name-calling and hostile behavior.
A new workplace policy in Rehoboth Beach mandates employees have mannerly and courteous behavior and set guidelines for repercussions if anyone uses hostile, abusive, and inappropriate language. In Friday's meeting, Mayor Stan Mills laid out examples of what he claims another commissioner has said.
Does this cover commissioners that refer to staff as the mayor's or the mayor's? I would hope it covers that.
Mills didn't single anyone out, but Commissioner Suzanne Good was the only one to speak out against the new rule today, saying the mayor's comments were,
it's a slippery slope when you're using hearsay there in the case of what I just heard. So I'm a little concerned already.
The city did not say what inspired this new rule, but it does come after a July 7th meeting erupted into a screaming match.
We'll suspend this meeting. You are out of order.
I have tried to get answers about this.
You are out of order.
Suzanne, enough, please.
This is germane to the taxpayers. You have the people who are compromised on this decision, making the decision.
Bruce Bauman worked on a Pennsylvania school board for over 20 years, and he says when meetings turn nasty, no work actually gets done.
Making people understand when they don't have the floor, they got to keep their mouth shut.
Rehoboth Beach trying to turn the page on a new ordinance to make things more respectful.
And that was Brandon Ferguson reporting the new rule effective immediately. The punishment if you violate the rule is on a case-to-case basis, but at most can result in termination. And an important note, the City of Rehoboth Beach municipal election is coming up. There's 3 candidates going for 2 city commissioner seats. None of those 3 are incumbents. According to his LinkedIn profile, Christopher Galanti is a program manager for a technology company based in Virginia. Jeffrey Good is a retired federal employee and is the husband of current Commissioner Suzanne Good. Susan Stewart is on the city's planning commission and a financial advisor with a major wealth management firm and a lawyer. Election day is August 9th with voting from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. We'll go now to our CoastTV poll. We want to know if you think, or how do you feel, rather, about a civility ordinance in Rehoboth Beach for those commissioners? Looking at the results, 71% strongly support it, 4% say it's a good idea but maybe needs some work, 19% with too subjective, 6% say it's not necessary. We want to know your take on this, so head over to coasttv.com or use our mobile app to vote. Maryland is pushing back against the Environmental Protection Agency tonight. The EPA last week said the state's permit for U.S. Winds project off the Delmarva coast was issued not in accordance with federal law. In a response, the Maryland Department of the Environment said the permit was issued in accordance with all state and federal laws, and the state says it will not reissue the permit as the EPA demanded. Maryland is also backtracking, saying the state permit issuing process is a state function, but the state website said the permits could be subject to a federal appeals process. MDE now says that language will be removed from their website. Oak Orchard Driver, something to be aware of. Part of Chief Road will be closed due to utility work and the installation of new pipe connections. The agency says that work will begin Monday, July 28th. It will last until Thursday, July 31st. Weather permitting, and detours will be in place. 24 hours really made all the difference on one Somerset County road. MDOT crews were out on Crisfield Highway today making temporary repairs to the heat-related pavement buckles. We told you about those buckles yesterday and talked about how neighbors were growing frustrated, mainly because the bumps had gone untreated for a month and a half. So today's work was a sight for sore eyes in the coastal community.
This is very welcome, you know, when you're out there and you're seeing the rig and people are messaging me, hey, look, did you see it? I said, no, let me go out there and take a look and get a picture of it, and we were happy.
The State Highway Administration says a permanent fix is on the horizon. Neighbors in Crisfield can expect that to happen in the coming weeks. Let's take a live look outside now into Rehoboth Beach and turn things to our First Alert Chief Meteorologist, Paul Williams. Paul, how's the weekend looking?
Well, we're getting a mix of things happening for this weekend. We're going to get a little bit of rain, some scattered showers, but we're also going to get a return of the heat briefly before we cool back down for next week. In Salisbury, courtesy of our Tidal Health camera, 77 degrees, winds at about 5 miles per hour. Now, we could see a late night sprinkle, and I'm talking about just a sprinkle, okay, not a downpour or dousing that will cause big problems. We'll drop down to 74 degrees by 3 o'clock. We're in the 70s right now, upper 70s for the most part. 76 in Milton, 79 in Georgetown, 77 in Gumboro, Laurel, as well as Del Mar. Now, what it feels like actual temperature, so about 82. So we've settled down a bit. Now, we have a random sprinkle that's trying to make its way across the Chesapeake Bay for right now, but most of this is falling to the south with the stationary, well, quasi-stationary front that's drifting more so to the south and dragging what little precipitation is creating right on down to the south with it. Now, coming up, we will be talking in more detail about what to anticipate for this weekend, but for right now, back to you, Christina.
Paul, thank you. Well, there's a surge of jellyfish on Sussex County's shores. Beach Patrol officials along the coast are reporting high numbers of sightings and stings. Take a look, some of the goopy guests we saw along the coast today. Lewis Beach Patrol leaders say the number of stings that they've treated have doubled since last year, going from 270 last year to around 550 so far this year. In Rehoboth Beach, patrol leaders say they treat roughly 60 to 70 stings a day.
There's a lot of different methods. The method we're going with is a 50-50 water and vinegar solution. So we just spray that to the affected area. Other remedies can be taking out the stingers with a tweezer, soaking it in hot water.
And patrol officials say the jellyfish prefer warm and mild waters. They say the jellyfish usually stick around from early July until mid-August. A busy weekend is revving up in Kent County, where the NASCAR race and Delaware State Fair are both happening at the same time. It's the first time they're happening at the same time since 1969. With two of the county's biggest events overlapping, thousands of people flocking from near and far to enjoy this summer fun. While race fans fill the stands and fairgoers head to the fairgrounds, local businesses and organizations say this increase in tourists is a significant win for the local economy.
This is huge for our local economy. I'm actually very happy that everything's going on at once. I mean, we have everyone local doing what they need to do.
Now, NASCAR weekend at Dover Motor Speedway runs until Sunday. The Delaware State Fair runs until July 26th. Also, two NASCAR legends made a pit stop in Dover ahead of this weekend's big race. Richard Childress and Kyle Busch visited Dover Air Force Base today, meeting with more than 200 service members and their families. Alongside military members, they unveiled Busch's Cheddar Scratch Kitchen No. 8 Chevrolet, decked out in a patriotic wrap. They say it's all about giving back to the men and women who give so much for our freedom.
We've got 67 members' names that work at Cheddar's that are veterans of the military, and so we appreciate them and everything that they've done and sacrificed for us, and we want to give back a little for them.
And Kyle Busch will compete on Sunday with this new Cheddar Scratch Kitchen Chevrolet in the NASCAR Cup Series. And we are just getting started this evening. Coming up ahead, cuts to public broadcasting. Why small town stations say this could silence their signals for good. But first, it is Friday, so we have all your cool things to do this weekend.
And among the Bay forecast, if you're heading from the Bay to the fair, listen, the bottom line is we're looking for the rest of this evening, hey, stay on 82, and we're going to stay pretty much mostly cloudy skies for the rest of the night. Your forecast is coming up.
Not all of the fun, but a lot of the fun is happening up in Kent County this weekend. NASCAR returns to the Monster Mile this weekend. Races start Friday, and the main event is on Sunday. Plus, Dover Motor Speedway's Fan Zone will be turned into Miles Beach this year. It'll feature family-friendly events and beach-themed attractions. And in Harrington, a Delmarva summer tradition, the Delaware State Fair. Agriculture, rides, food, and more. You can enjoy all the State Fair has to offer until July 27th. Here on the coast, it's Pride Weekend in Rehoboth Beach. Head to the Convention Center Saturday for a Pride Festival, plus performances and workshops all weekend long. Or if you're feeling competitive, the Big Chill Surf Cantina is bringing back their Cantina Olympics Saturday. Grab a teammate and get ready for some fun with games like musical flip cup, water balloon toss, beer pong, and more. Finally, the iconic Oscar Mayer Wienermobile is in Lewis this weekend. You can spot the part car, part giant hot dog at Staybridge Suites until Sunday. You can head to CoastTV.com and check out the Cool Things to Do article for event details, tickets, and more.
The new guy? So first and foremost, we're going to have a combination of heat and humidity making a comeback in the middle of the weekend, and that's following a thunderstorm or two for Saturday. Our dry tech camera, Ocean City, 80 degrees, dew point 71. And we're expecting for it to drop down to 75 degrees as early as 3 o'clock in the morning under partly cloudy skies. Temps are in the 70s right now. We'd say a comfortable cool 70s, not all that overpressing or overbearing humidity. 79 in Lewis, we have 76 in Milton and in Milford, and 76 degrees currently in Bridgeville. And the heat index, pretty much close to the same numbers, not much of a change. However, that muggy meter has been dancing on the high side of things between very muggy or very humid to miserable. But it will drop precipitously down to muggy, isn't that ironic, down to muggy, by Monday morning going into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. But we got to get there first, or past this weekend. Here's a live look at radar, and we're seeing a couple of sprinkles making its way across. There's a small little smidgen of rain that's connected to the warm section of this stationary boundary, but it's not expected to have a long shelf life. Our rain chances will stay at the scattered amount or level for us on Saturday, and that's actually between 40 to 60% chance of rain for Saturday. Then we drop Saturday night, and then we drop even more so by the time we get to Sunday. So here's how it's going to break down. We'll have cloudy skies Saturday morning, a couple of sprinkles southeast of Easton. And then throughout the day, we'll start seeing some lifting of the cloud cover. We'll see some spotty showers flare up between 1 and 5 o'clock. Here's what this model's showing on this run at about 3 o'clock, but it's going to be moving off of the water. By the way, if you're enjoying the NASCAR weekend, your Monster Mile NASCAR weekend forecast, cloudy on Saturday. We're thinking about all-out rain, but now we're backing off and just saying cloudy. And then 91 on Sunday with the latest model run. You see Saturday night about 10 o'clock, then we see scattered showers pushing across Seaford and then moving across the entire area pretty quickly for Saturday night. So the models are hedging now on what's going to happen on Saturday, but we're still expecting rain on Saturday. And we'll have temperatures or the heat index into the triple-digit category briefly over the weekend. For tomorrow, we're looking for a chance of rain, but then as we go on Sunday, excessive rain outlook is looking dismal to non-existent for the most part. So Monday clears out, Tuesday clears out, but notice how these arrows are coming out of the north and the northeast. That means cooler, drier air is on the way, meaning that we'll enjoy some sunshine without all that humidity stuff coming with it. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, lower humidity, dew point temperatures in the 50s and 60s, where they're supposed to be. Thank you, Mother Nature. All right. Comfortable for a late July day. So for tonight, scattered showers, and they're light, scattered sprinkles, I probably should have said. Tomorrow, partly sunny with a scattered thunderstorm between 1 and 5. And then Sunday, we may see a gust thunderstorm quickly, but it's going to be gone like that if it shows up at all. Finally, here's a look at your 7-day forecast.
Thank you so much, Paul. Well, the cost of building electric vehicles in the U.S. could be going way up. The Commerce Department is placing a 93.5% tariff on Chinese graphite. That's an item needed for building EVs. The decision to place a fee on Beijing was applauded by U.S. graphite producers who claim Chinese producers have dominated the market and have prevented American companies from becoming established. Analysts say this move will escalate the trade-related tensions between the U.S. and China. And new tonight, President Trump is filing a lawsuit against the publisher of the Wall Street Journal. That's according to a docket filed in federal court in South Florida. It says Trump is also suing reporters who worked on a story about a collection of letters gifted to Jeffrey Epstein for his birthday in 2003. That collection reportedly included a note with Trump's name with an outline of a naked woman, and the Journal reported that the drawing included the caption, quote, "Happy birthday and may every day be another wonderful secret," unquote. Now Trump is suing for libel, assault, and slander. Trump denies he wrote the note. No word as of Friday afternoon from the Journal about the lawsuit. Well, some of the country's most popular TV shows and radio stations could soon face major cuts. Childhood staples like Sesame Street, even local public radio stations, could be impacted by a bill passed by Congress. Leaders voted to cut more than $1 billion in funding for NPR and PBS. Amy Cho explains what this could mean for your favorite programming.
Whether you live in a big city or a small town, currently every household in America has access to at least one public media station for news and emergency alerts. But with Republican leaders now voting to claw back funding for PBS and NPR, some smaller rural stations say they'll struggle to stay afloat.
And once you start punching holes in the national network that serves all Americans and has done so for 50 years, you will start to see that those will not be able to come back.
Republican leaders have criticized PBS and NPR, accusing them of liberal bias.
These are not honest news organizations. These are partisan, left-wing outlets that are funded by the taxpayers. And this administration does not believe it's a good use of the taxpayers' time and money.
Nearly all Republicans in Congress voted for the funding cuts, except for 2 members of the House and 2 in the Senate. Alaskan Senator Lisa Murkowski was one of the no votes, posting on X, "Some colleagues claim they are targeting radical leftist organizations with these cuts. But in Alaska, these are simply organizations dedicated to their communities. They deliver local news, weather updates, and yes, emergency alerts that save human lives. We should vote down these misguided cuts to public broadcasting."
A balance scale shows when 2 things weigh the same.
PBS is also home to free educational shows for kids, teaching them things like reading and math. We asked a developmental psychologist at Georgetown University what the impact could be if PBS is forced to scale back on its content for kids.
I really worry about families that are not well resourced. I worry about families in rural communities.
Professor Rachel Barr says programs like Sesame Street are also designed to teach kids about kindness and empathy.
When children have a fight, that they can actually make friends again, or that they can understand that other children might be different from them, but they can play together and learn from each other and so on.
One public radio station in Michigan tells NBC News they've already begun layoffs because of the funding cuts, as hundreds of stations around the country now scramble to find more funding.
Coming up in sports, a chance to get to softball Sunday as these teams battle it out to advance. And coming up, the FDA rules on the Juul, why the once banned vapes are now getting a second chance.
Here's a look at your golf forecast as we're teeing it up for tomorrow. Keep in mind that we're going to have fair conditions. We're looking partly sunny skies, but you are watching out for scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon.
This is Coast TV News at 11.
The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has approved the sale of Juul vapes after trying to ban them. Thursday, the FDA approved the sale of Juul's e-cigarettes and its refill cartridges. The agency banned the products in 2022, but the ban was almost immediately suspended while a review was underway. Juul was initially accused of marketing the vapes to teenagers and children. The FDA now says Juul products can help adult cigarette smokers quit or use less harmful products. Over 39,000 individuals in the U.S. were diagnosed with HIV in 2023, according to the CDC. And while that marks a decline, doctors at Northwell Health say the spread is preventable, especially because of a new drug. Paizi Chang tells us about the twice-yearly injection that can prevent HIV infection.
58-year-old Evelyn Alva Lampkin was diagnosed with AIDS in 2010, and she was quite ill.
When I was diagnosed with AIDS. So I thought it was a life sentence. I was totally and completely shocked.
Shocked because she was married and only with her husband at the time. She says he was HIV positive and never told her. Lampkin is much better now, healthy, but still living with HIV. She wishes there had been something available to protect her back then.
If PrEP was out then, I might have considered it.
A new FDA-approved drug, Yeztugo, could have protected her. It's a twice-yearly injection that can prevent HIV infection.
This medicine blocks that capsid from forming so the virus cannot undergo its life cycle. It actually blocks the virus at several steps.
Northwell Dr. Joseph McGowan says the problem is not enough people take it.
We're not messaging and reaching the people who need this effective preventive therapy adequately.
McGowan says the drug is easy to administer and is effective and could dramatically reduce new infections if more people used it.
If you get the first dose, you take pills with it. First day, another pill the second day, 2 pills, and then you get almost immediate protection.
The drug, Yeztugo, is covered by insurance, and doctors say that if you're interested in it, you should ask your medical provider.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
The softball action keeps on rolling on the Delmarva Sports Network, and we've got more USSSA games to break down. Let's send things out to the field at Henry S. Parker Athletic Complex with DSN's Patrick Hassett and Darren Wallace.
It was an exciting Game 2 of our 3 games here on DSN USSSA softball. Darren Wallace, Pat Cassett were on the call, and it was a good one between the South Plainfield Tigers from New Jersey and the Orange County Bombers from New York. It was a lot of offense early. Things died down, but then we had some drama at the end. This game had everything. Let's take a look at the highlights, Pat. And early on, we thought we would get a lot of offense, and it was South Plainfield who jumped out to an early lead.
Yeah, it felt like Tigers got the bats going early, and it felt like this is going to be a telltale sign from 10U that this could be a 10-8 ball game.
Something that OC was able to do, but here it is. Emma DeGroat, one of the best players that we saw all day. She was great in the circle, and she even did it at the plate. The go-ahead, reaching on a error, if you will, in just 5 innings. OC wins it 4-3. It was a tight one. We thought we'd see a lot of scoring. It was scoreless in innings 2 and 3 and 4. It wasn't until the 5th inning they pushed across that go-ahead run, and just like that, they win 4-3, and they stay alive in this tournament.
Darren and Patrick, thank you. That'll for sports. Have a great night, everybody.
Now here's a live look outside into Lewis. We'll have one more check on your forecast coming up after the break. LA Dodgers superstar Shohei Ohtani is hoping for another big hit, this time off the mound. The three-time MVP co-writing a children's book about his dog named Decoy. Ohtani posted a teaser on his Instagram Thursday, a photo of Decoy sitting next to the fiction book. It's titled Decoy Saves Opening Day, and it goes on sale early next year. The book will support nonprofits helping to rehome stray and abandoned dogs.
In Ocean City, our Gateway Subaru camera, we're at 80 degrees at this present time. We'll drop down to 77 by 1 o'clock and 75 by 3 o'clock. Our Skeeter meter, listen, we're going to be at extreme levels for Saturday and Sunday, but then we'll back off on Monday because we're going to have less in the way of humidity. So, George Glacken of Lewis, you're our umbrella giveaway winner, courtesy of Paul Davis Restoration and Home Remodeling. If you want to keep up with your forecast, you can call our weather line. The number to call is 443-880-9100. Your forecast is just a call away. Sponsored by the law offices of Bruxett, Mandelas, and Federico. And finally, here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast. Now, to be honest, we are expecting a chance of scattered showers, but you know what? The latest models late tonight are indicating that they're backing off on the amount of rain. I wouldn't buy that wholesale. I would still say plan on dealing with some rain between 1 and 5 o'clock. But outside of those parameters, we should be relatively dry. But then we're going to be crazy hot and humid by Sunday with 93, but it's going to feel like 103. And then we'll finally cool off significantly for next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday before we go right back and get the heat jacked right back up for next Thursday and Friday.
All right, appreciate it, Paul, and thanks for joining us for Coast TV News at 11 tonight. You can always find some more local news and local weather on our Coast TV News app, and you can join us again tomorrow for Coast TV News at 6 and 11 p.m. The Tonight Show's next. Have a great night.